Welcome back to the second episode of the Zastcast, the podcast where we don't talk about motivation, we don't talk about self-improvement, we just talk about shit. Talk about shit. How's it going? Yeah. Keaton, actually a previous guest of the Prime Life podcast, great friend of mine, currently on leave from the Marines. He is staying in Janesville for a few days. We've been lifting and grabbing some awesome workouts, so to have him back in town and be hanging out with him is an absolute joy. To have him on the podcast has been a long time coming again. We've been talking about a follow-up for a while. This is that follow-up. And with this one, we can actually just talk about random stuff. We don't have to just confine it to I do my 5x5 on deadlifts and squats to get jacked or anything about mentality. We can just talk about shit.
Whatever we want.
Let me just crack open this beautiful can of Bang, and we will begin. I was half expecting that thing to explode because it went all over my car in the back seat.
But that was a little bit ago.
No, that was a little bit ago.
I think I spent some time in the bathroom to calm down.
Oh yeah, this man blew up my bathroom. It absolutely destroyed it. I'm scared to even look in the general vicinity of my bathroom because of how much carnage was laid down. Oh, it's bad. It's bad.
Let there be blood.
Let there be blood. The little fancy drug that I have with me right now is what's going to allow me to speak eloquently to you guys, to articulate my words, to have all the words that I want to say come to the tip of my tongue. Oxiracetam. It is part of the racetam and piracetam family. Not illegal. For him, he can't have it in the military. It's part of the Marine banned substance list because it belongs to a family of racetams that aren't regulated by the FDA. So the fact that it's unregulated means that he can't have it, unfortunately. But we're going to be taking a good 750 milligram serving. And to segue off of that, it is most likely going to be in the product that me and my boss are doing at Burn Nutrition, the sponsor of the Prime Life podcast, and probably by proxy this podcast. Check out their store. Use code Zastrow for 15% off at checkout because, your boy needs to fund his caffeine addiction. Right there.
There's the code.
There's the code. Use it.
Put in more editing for you.
Thanks, Keaton.
Yeah, it's okay.
Editing is so time. It takes so much time. You realize that because you edited a few videos.
Yeah, that's why I did it.
It's so long. I'm just going to take this before it forgets.
Oh, no, yeah.
There's no taste to it. And when I took it earlier...
So does it come with the actual scooper?
Yeah, so the scoop is... Let me see if I can actually...
We're having technical difficulties here.
I'm just going to take two small ones.
Okay.
Anyway, so yeah, not illegal, not bad for us. Apparently, it causes irritability because it makes you more aware of everything around you. So, you just notice annoying things you've never noticed before when you take too much of it. But people also notice that they feel like they're able to articulate their words better while on it. They notice that they're more comfortable in social situations. So, if I saw this absolute bombshell of a girl, and I was single, because I'm not single, and I was just kind of scared to talk to her.
You just dropped a little bit of it.
I just spill some powder all over my floor.
Spit a little bit of it.
A little bit of powder. That does not look sketchy at all, the white powder in my apartment. I would take some Oxiracetam to be able to talk a little bit better, to be a little bit more comfortable, to absolutely lay down my game and get the girl.
and get the girl.
It is water soluble, so you don't actually have to take it with a fat in your meals for it to be able to absorb. And I'm going to take just a little bit right now. I don't actually know what it tastes like raw. It had zero taste when I mixed it with water. That was weird. It's like crystals.
Doesn't taste like anything?
Like a slightly off salt. That's more fine.
You see, maybe I feel like when companies actually mix it with something, they put on a little bit of artificial flavors or something like that.
Oh, probably. It's in David Lade's Euphoria pre-workout.
That is gonna be awesome. After you make this, can I say after you make?
Yeah,
okay, so after you make this pills, are you gonna plan on making a pre-workout or
so
maybe a protein powder or something like that?
Protein, definitely not protein. That market is way too oversaturated, and to get that up and running would be so logistically impossible. I'd be balancing a million different things, paying ton of money. So it'd be really hard to do. Pre-workout is a lot closer. Honestly, I'd probably do pre-workout in a pill form, purely because the pre-workout market is so oversaturated right now, and to get a good... So if anyone doesn't know, these companies that you can design pre-workout with literally make you pay like $15,000 for samples, or like place a minimum order of 800 units. So for me, living in my rinky-dink apartment,
that's not what I'm gonna say rinky-dink, but it's nice.
It's in my small apartment. That's very that's a reasonable price tag, because I have to have a reasonable price tag. It would be very hard for me to do that, and not have to start selling my organs and kidneys on the black market to get by. But it would be in the future. It'd be a great idea. I think pill form, because you don't have to worry about the flavor. You can just put it all in there yourself. Looking at
it
what
would be like dry scooping it, but just
but in pill form, you just like put some pills and wash it with water. The thing with pre-workouts is the flavor would be incredibly hard to do, but the ingredients, we know what works. We know what works really well. 6 to 8 grams of citrulline malate, not beta-alanine, because beta-alanine is a shit compound that gives you the butthole itches. To facts. Add some of that along with like a nitric oxide precursor and maybe creatine if they're going to be taking it, because creatine can be used in like a pre-workout capacity.
You could do like a pill form of like, like a pre-workout with creatine
Exactly.
without.
95% of the pump you get from a pre-workout is from the citrulline. Past that, it's just some stuff that like can marginally increase like your body's ability to produce nitric oxide in the blood and whatnot. So it's not like a huge thing at all. It's just one of those things where it's like it'd have to be in pill form, because the work behind doing like a good tasting pre-workout would be like I'd have to start roping my family into like manage the supply chain, because that'd be way too much. Just the pill form pre-workout or the pill form nootropic that this will be in is already enough work on my end.
That's awesome that you have someone partnering with you as well.
Exactly, yeah. To have people who are like funding it has been like awesome. We're doing 2. So me and one of my buddies, Josh Soderstrom, we're doing primal mate for the social, to remove social inhibitions. More confident with women, take it before you go to the bar, your game just goes through the roof. Yeah. All things that guys our age want.
I feel like that would be really good for like a daily like supplement that you can take as well.
Exactly. Take it before a meeting, and you're able to put your words together better. You're more confident. You know how to like present your ideas. Quite honestly, the Oxiracetam that I took earlier today, I immediately noticed it working. I was supposed to quit caffeine, and so I've been having major brain fog just from how like it's major brain fog. And immediately when I took the Oxiracetam, first of all, we noticed these really weird like pressures, like because me and Nate Byrne, we took it. We noticed like really weird pressure in the back of our head, along with like this like slight bit of euphoria when taking it. Music sounds better, which is kind of fucking cool. Have you ever been on like a hefty dose of pre-workout and music just is like the coolest thing ever?
Yeah.
And you're just like getting more excited as you're like driving. Same idea.
Just blast the music right before the workout. That's what I do, honestly.
But like you can make it sound better. There's been times where I've literally like this is a bit extreme, and this only happened like once. So like when I say there's been times, only really one time. But I was on like 3 different types of stimulants, and I was driving, and I just started crying because of how great music sounded. Isn't that so weird?
That's honestly really weird to me. I've never cried to music, so it must have really touched your heart or something.
Something, just like the waves of it just hit my soul and like just fulfilled me. Lex Little said that he stopped taking DMHA because he would cry after his workouts for some reason. It would just like it would trigger some like serotonin. Most of these pre-workouts affect serotonin, which affects like your ability to like mentally be stable and like calm. And so like by having like an imbalance of serotonin in your brain, depression, I think even like what's the one where it's like they go back and forth between depressive and manic?
You know a lot more about supplements than I do, my friend. So
anyway,
I would look to you for that one.
People being bipolar, I think is due to like the serotonin imbalance. But yeah, supplements are interesting. Let's get off of fitness for a second, because I'm gonna be fucking honest, my guy. Talking about fitness for like the last 6 years is a ton of fun and really small. But like once it becomes over like 20 minutes of like supplements is a little bit different. Like I can talk about those for a lot longer than I can like lifting and fitness. But it's just like
it gets repetitive.
It gets repetitive. It's like, how long can we talk about how many pull-ups you need to do to get a big back, or like how to target your biceps brachii one way over the other?
How to get it, away from chicken legs, something like that. Just looks down.
I mean, that's something that's not a conversation. That's a conversation we need to have between you and I.
Okay. You know what? I'm done talking about this. Now. We could talk about No, nutrition is kind of in there as well.
Yeah, nutrition will be. It doesn't matter. It's the primal or the Zastcast.
The Zastcast.
The Zastcast.
So do you know what is wild to me?
What is wild?
So let me tell you a little story.
I want to hear the story.
I was back in California. I was with my friend. It was before we went on deployment, and we decided, to go out to eat real quick. And we got Taco Bell, something small, something cheap, and we went to go sit at the beach. And out of nowhere, there was this random guy that came up to us, and he was off the rockers. He was crazy. He was insane, 100%. He was talking to us.
In 10 years.
But he told us that he was a traveling priest, right? And he told us that he was traveling for 5 years.
Wow.
He traveled to 3 states in 5 years. And he told us how he used to be like a body model and all this stuff like that. Absolute lunatic. But it's just wild that, like, how do you feel that, like, out there, like, not just, like, because these are, like, supplements or something that you can take,
Yeah.
Like, how do you feel about, like, the drugs in the world? Like, how do you feel like that impacts people's lives? I've always wondered this to people. Personally, I've had a cousin, heroin, but he's a lot better now.
Yeah.
But how do you feel about, like, like, that specific topic?
Drugs. And all encompassing. Okay, so, like, to bring it down, there are medical reasons for taking a variety of drugs, including methamphetamine has actually been prescribed to people in certain areas. If you look at Adderall, Ritalin, meth, and cocaine are very similar chemically. And there are very specific circumstances where, like, stuff like that can be prescribed. Adderall is a lot more common than most things, but can be abused. There's certainly a very fine line between, like, addiction and something that can be beneficial for your life, and it's kind of, I think it's very, like, dependent on the drug. Caffeine can be a serious problem.
I know that one for sure.
We both know that one for sure. You from watching me spiral and me from taking it and watching myself spiral.
Yeah.
And then, like, other drugs can be as well too. I think that the health industry, when it comes to over-prescribing antidepressants, over-prescribing opiates and stuff like that, I think that they, generally speaking, like, pharmacies and pharmaceutical companies profit off of people's misery. And so I think it has a place, but I think it should be the last step. If you look at what should be done before all these prescriptions are given out, they should get their sleep in order. They should get their supplement, or maybe not supplementation. They should start supplementing with maybe taking their multivitamin, taking micronutrient-rich foods to get those variables down. They should start exercising daily. Maybe they should get outside and walk for 10 fucking minutes a day instead of sitting in their cave. I would be so depressed if I had none of that. If I was put in a situation where I wasn't able to exercise, wasn't able to go outside, wasn't eating good food, it's like, yeah, no shit, you're depressed because your body literally is not given any of the good things to function. And we're just going to throw antidepressants or Adderall on top of that to make it right and fix the problem. That's where a lot of my issues lie in the medical industry. They're great for, you need immediate help, you're dying, we need to, like, fix your heart, bring you back from a heart attack, fix your liver, kidneys, all these, like, things, heal from brain aneurysm and whatnot. But when it comes to, like, the things that should be done, should be approached with what can we control now in this moment instead of what drugs can we throw onto the equation to fix the problem, it makes me so fucking pissed off, quite honestly. Like, I see all these people, teenagers get addicted to Adderall, be overprescribed medication. It ruins their life, quite literally. There's a lyric in a line, they feed you, a lyric in a song, they feed you antidepressants until you're depressed again.
Yeah.
And that's what I see with most people. It makes it better. Partially, they become over-reliant on the drugs. They might develop an addiction to the drugs, and they can't live without them, and it just ruins their lives.
That's the same thing with illegal drugs as well.
Same thing with illegal drugs too. I'm very against. See, even caffeine can be abused, and there's a very fine line. 3 bangs a day is a lot of bangs. It's one of the things where, like, it's only acceptable to me because it's not even acceptable to me. Like, it's a problem. Quite honestly, like, to be honest with myself, it's a problem. I would say, like, having all, like, the other variables in my health checked with my micronutrients, macronutrients, good heart health. Like, you and me ran a 5K effortlessly the other day. I ran a 12K at the night and only stopped when I had to go to bed. stuff like that. Like I'm a pretty healthy individual, so like that's why it's a little bit easier to like let it slide. But it's not healthy. It's truly not healthy. And that taken to a farther level with drugs that cause serious dependencies and seriously screw up everything in our brain. A lot of other pre-workouts contain other dopamine produced. So caffeine's a little bit different in that it actually helps your body release more. Other drugs, DMHA, DMAA, Adderall, actually produce dopamine. And when you produce a ton of dopamine, you feel great. Everything is interesting. When you get
You'll never be able to produce that much again.
Exactly.
That's the same how like illegal drugs work. To me, yeah, like, you know, I remember learning that, you know, heroin, or yeah, I believe it was heroin. I could be wrong, but I'm just gonna go with that.
Just stuff like opioids.
Opioids. You know, like, just, as well as having like my own family, like personal like life into it. Like, there's like facts saying that like the amount of dopamine that it causes the brain, like it overflows it, right? Meaning that like they said that like sexual activity,
yeah,
you know, intercourse, whatever you want to call it,
cannot hold a candle to the flame of your
it is significantly higher. Meaning, you know, obviously like people can develop dependencies on drugs. Another question I have for you is like, how those people that are like in a very like rough spot, you know, like like, you know, maybe they do heroin, maybe they're at rehab, like whatever they are. Do you feel as if that they are a problem in society, or, you know, that they have a problem that needs to be helped? I've always wondered like what people thought about this.
Yeah.
Personally, for me, you know, I've lived through it. I've seen it happen in front of my own eyes, and, you know, people can become better if they actually put their mind and their heart into it. I definitely have a lot of filler words right now, but like I can say that 100%. Like I feel like, I mean, you know, I feel like it's a sickness in a sense. It's like an addiction. It's, you know, it's a mental problem or some sort of thing.
Yeah.
I don't really think that they are trashy people.
Yeah.
Like they just, you know, like everyone has problems, everyone has struggles in life, you know. But like
exactly.
That's what I see. How do you feel about that?
You know, I think it's very multidimensional. Every single person, whether watching this, who has existed at some point, has a gift, no matter how small or how big, that can benefit the world quite massively. So we all have this gift, and most of the people, and I believe very few people are bad people. Like I've met maybe one evil person in my life, if that. Everyone else has just been misguided. To say that these people who are on drugs are evil people, that's just a shitty argument in general. Or to say that they're bad people because they're on drugs, shitty argument. To say that they're bad people because they decided to take drugs, they might be bad people, but I don't think choosing to take drugs makes you a bad person. It's a bad choice, obviously, and we can never, as a society, reward that decision to engage in
good.
It's never good. It's never good, and there's a big difference. Like me saying, Keaton, you made shitty decisions, does not mean you're not a good person. Or vice versa with myself or with any person. Like I've made some pretty fucked up decisions in my past. You guys watching the camera probably have too. And everything is living and learning too. And so those decisions don't make you a bad person. Choosing to reinforce those decisions and make those decisions maybe a part of yourself, that might, but it's addiction, focusing on addiction. I think that there's a lot of honesty that has to come with it. And I think if you were to ask 99% of people who are addicted to drugs, when they aren't on those drugs, if they do anything different, if they could snap their fingers and have what they want in the world, none of them would probably want to be addicted to whatever drug it was that they're on, or be in, because it's high, it's extremely high highs and then extremely low lows. In manipulating the dopamine part of our brain, like you said before, you hit these highs, and then your baseline drops below normal, and then when you try to hit that high again, let's say I take
it's going to take more.
It's going to take more, and your lows are going to be significantly lower and lower and lower and lower. And I've said that with myself, and like chasing adrenaline and stuff like that, like chasing caffeine, tracing adrenaline. Maybe it's not working. Maybe I'm not. I don't know. But you know, there's
expired yet no.
There's a very fine line of too much, too little, and especially when it comes to like bad drugs, like there should just be like this isn't a thing. I think society should do more in prevention, because like
helping them people.
and helping them, and I think a lot of it starts with the family.
No, yeah.
I think I mean the biggest determination of like whether people end up in poverty.
I mean, you could be in a really great family as well.
100%. 100%. And that's I'd say that's a little bit more due to like it still kind of involves this, but like having two parents or not, that is the biggest indicator of like whether you're going to live in poverty or not. It should never be the determining factor. I've met some crazy people, some awesome, some of the best people I know came from some really bad backgrounds. But like the biggest determination of whether someone's going to be successful or not in life is whether they have a dad and a mom as their parents. And it's crazy seeing how broken people can become when they don't have that influence growing up. They can still end up incredibly successful, but it's obviously going to be a little bit harder than like having two amazing parents like I do. Very blessed in that matter. I'm incredibly. It's one of the things that I think about like daily, like how, like looking at the people around me. It's like how blessed am I to have two parents when person next door didn't, and they had a lot harder than I did. So I think that a lot of it resolves from prevention, education, and then once it does come to like rehabilitation, it's like providing the programs and resources for people to like get off of it. To past that, you know, drug addiction, it's such a complex issue that
100%.
is so multidimensional that
a lot of people don't see the other side.
A lot of people don't see the other side, and like what I like to tell people is like just don't judge, look at the facts, learn about it, but don't label these people as shitty people before you've met them or like heard about what happens in their life. One of my buddies growing up, I'm not going to name his name, he went off the map because he got incredibly addicted to drugs because his parents abandoned him. His foster parent tried to support him. I don't think it really helped because a lot of like the bad thought patterns had already been like put in this kid's system. He fell with a bad crowd, and I have not seen him since. Blocked me and everything. Last thing I heard was he was doing just tons of drugs, and whatnot. And it's like I can't judge him because I don't know what it's like. I don't believe he's a bad person for his decisions, but it's one of those things where it's like obviously they're bad, but
wish he didn't fall down that path.
I wish he didn't fall down that path, and I feel like, and then I think that most people, if they had a family member who did something similar to that, they'd welcome them back into their lives. Once they looked at it honestly and not emotionally.
Yeah.
I think a lot of times people are like, oh, trust your heart when it comes to this. I feel like a lot of times our heart doesn't really know what the fuck is going on a lot of times, and trying to look at it from like a secondary position, lay down the facts with honesty and with emotions maybe involved, but like try and separate yourself from the problem, and then you can kind of like start to maybe develop a good opinion on what is right in that situation. It's hard. It's hard.
Especially like when people say like, oh, like people overdose, but like, you know, like a drug addict can get Narcan in an ambulance for free, and like me, I'm struggling over here with my kid who can't even, like, we have to pay thousands or hundreds or whatever it is for an EpiPen due to his like allergy that he has, maybe to like a bee or something. But you know, like everyone has their own like thoughts about it. I think, you know, I tend to want to think that even if they do make those bad decisions, whatever happens. But I mean, we shouldn't just give up on them. But yeah, going back onto your statement about emotions can be a very, very happy, very good, but also like very negative type of thing. It can really put people down in the dumps. I feel like it can really make people happy, feel good. Emotions are a very hard thing to play with in my eyes.
Oh yeah. It's very complex.
It very
Our
is.
brains, like trying to understand how we think the way we do, it's very hard. And it's interesting. We as humans, we like patterns. Did you know that 90% of your thoughts are just repeat thoughts from the same day, the same every single day? Like you have like I think it's like 5% unique thoughts a day. Imagine I'm gonna go to the fridge because I'm hungry. I'm gonna eat this because I'm hungry. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna text this person because for whatever reason they're most likely gonna be repeat thoughts. And we're very pattern based, and our moods can become states, and these states can become phases, and then the phases can become your personality. Like one mood, like whether you feed it or like end it can evolve into who you are. And I say this because I went through it. Period of my life, I was pissed. I wanted to hurt people. I wanted someone to try and test me, so I had an excuse to go off the rails and cause some damage. And it started off with, I think it was a few friends, just like talking some shit behind my back. Anyways, that anger felt great because anger gives you a lot of dopamine. It gives you a huge adrenaline rush. And I'm like, this feels good. I have power when I'm like in this state. So I'm going to feed it. And so the mood became my state, and that state became a phase. And the next thing you know, I'm pissed off every single day for a year straight. And then looking back at it, I'm like, what the fuck happened? I feel it was one of those things where it was like I don't know how to love anymore because I've just been pissed and looking for blood for the past year. That can happen with any emotion. It can happen with any thought pattern. We like homeostasis. So most people, I would say, like they want to return to, like, calm is their homeostasis, or it should be. Like, they want to return. They're going to do what they can to return. When they get angry, they're going to calm themselves down. They get happy. Eventually, they're going to calm down to that homeostasis. When you're mad, like, anger can become your homeostasis, and you look for every reason in your day to go back to that, where it's normal, where you're comfortable, because you don't know anything else, and all these other emotions, they scare you because you only understand how to be angry.
That's the thing, though. Emotions, to me, like, I kind of live by this rule. Like, I never try to go to bed in a bad mindset.
Everyone should do that.
I just feel like it really, like, pushes the next day into being kind of maybe more shittier or just, like, really bad on mental health.
Oh, yeah.
Arguments as well. Like, I get into an argument with someone, I don't want to end that day knowing that, like that I didn't solve it and that everything didn't go better.
And you have to try to sleep with knowing what you could have said to get the one-up edge on them, where your brain just plays this, like, fight in your head.
Or something like that. But, like, I always want to try to figure out things before I go to bed and make sure that I feel good and that the other person feels good, because, again, emotions can be really toxic and really, like,
100%.
heavy on people depending on how you use them.
Exactly.
Or they can be good, like, there's so much stuff.
So much stuff to dissect. What you said about, like, not going to bed, like, that's one thing too, especially with me. You ever just wake up pissed and you don't know why? And then it becomes a pattern where day to day you're just waking up mad. That shouldn't be your homeostasis. Every day should be a blank state. You can
blank
be
slate.
Blank state.
Yeah,
but
I'm saying
a blank state or blank slate.
Yeah.
And then we got to do what we can to do that. If you wake up angry, you're not, like, and that's one of the things too. You should never, like, I fucking hate myself for waking up angry. That, like, level. You should never, like, look at it like that. There's no shame in any sense, whether it's drug, and this kind of segues back into the other talk we had, whether it's drug use, porn addiction to anything else, XYZ, looking at it like you're a shitty person whenever you do it, and, like, just living in that misery is going to do nothing for you. Looking at it with, all I can do is try, like, looking every single day, like, having the opportunity to, like, I am so thankful for the opportunity to try and be better. And there's going to be days when you aren't better, when the addiction comes back in full force, but just trying every single day, I think that's the most important thing and the most admirable thing that we can do. Whether it's like, I am incredibly fat, can't do anything, but I'm going to try and be better by pushing myself just a little bit more and more every day. That is almost more impressive than the person who just works out because that's all they know, Just trying and being better. The person who stays away from, quits, let's just say, quits weed, and they fall back into it at points, but they're still making that cognizant and conscious effort to try every single day to be better. That's like the winner mindset. Just try and be better. It's never going to be immediate. You're always going to fall. But as long as you get back up, you've already won. You've already won, because you will be making the steps to be better, to make sure that when you stop falling, and when you do fall, your falls aren't as big. And so, like, that's what separates, like, the top 5% of people from the bottom 85 or 90. I can't do math. The bottom 95% of people.
Is it working?
God, I need to send this back to the manufacturer. No, I think it is working, but just talking.
No, yeah, maybe it's caffeine.
Maybe it's the caffeine.
Who knows? I actually need to grab my bang real quick because I feel lonely without it. Take me 1 second.
Let's actually just pause this right now so I can go run to the bathroom. And Lord help you, Keaton, if it still stinks in there.
I'm so sorry. Yeah, let's pause this. We'll be right back because I have something really.
We'll just leave it streaming. Wow, I'm only drinking half of my second bang. Maybe I am a new man.
No, still not.
That's not.
Drink. You still drink caffeine, so.
I drink a lot of caffeine.
Yeah. Never gonna quit.
Never gonna quit.
If you say you do, still won't. If you do it, honestly, I 100% will not believe you.
You won't believe me. That's fine. That's fine, Keaton, because when I do, and it's...
No, it's just one thing I'm never gonna believe. Like, you can tell me, and I'll think you're lying the rest of my life. I won't judge you, though, because I'll be like, he has an addiction, it's fine.
Yes,
like,
yeah.
But like...
Next thing you know, I come back to my apartment, my family's here, Keaton's here, my girlfriend's there, and they're like, Colin, have a seat.
And you're just like, I quit 6 months ago.
Guys, I've been clean. And they're like, they open up the closet and just bang cans come piling out at me. Piling out. They're like, we know.
It's okay. We're here for you. We're going to talk about this.
We're going to talk about this. We need to talk about how we feel.
We feel like it's really hard on you. Yeah. You know, it's decreasing your pumps in the gym.
Oh, yeah. It's just ruining everything about you that we love. And then, I'm like, I'm like, I can't do this. I don't want to be here. I walk out and there's like people in white jumpsuits ready to take me to the mental care facility. Ooh, that was crisp. That was a crisp sound. That, I think we should just totally cut that second part out. That slurp you made. Okay. I did not need to hear that.
No, yeah. So, anyways.
Well, we were on. I talked about drugs and we both just stopped for a second so you could get your second bang.
Yeah.
My 100%. Third one is sitting over there waiting to be drained.
My third one's in your car.
Hey, that's for your workout.
Yeah.
That's for your workout. We're going to hit legs after this.
Not ready.
It's going to be fun. The last leg workout, you got murdered, right?
I got murdered, but I'm happy I finally did.
315. You got it for 2 singles, which means your true max is probably higher than that. First one flew. You did ass to the grass.
Maybe. I feel like if I had a belt on, too, that'd be a lot better.
Oh, you'd have like 340 at least.
Maybe. I don't know. I'll probably feel it. But
340?
I'll try. Maybe I'll try to hit 315 for maybe like a solid 2 or 3 reps.
Maybe. The Jack has terrible bars, so the ones that we squatted with were a lot better than the ones that we have access to when we're downstairs. Because, like, part of the weight room closes, the weight room with the nice bars closes, so we have to use the shitty bars that have knurling that's gone and that whip, and that when you squat down and go back up, the weights are shaking, causing you to, like, fucking fly out of your positioning.
Yeah.
It's awful.
I really want to try the belt.
Belt squat?
Belt squat.
Well, when we go to Primal tomorrow, I can show you that. We don't have one at the club, unfortunately.
It'd be nice if they invest.
They really should. Mark Roshan, if you're watching this, get a belt squat. Please. They're incredible.
I won't be here probably to use it for a bit. But I'll be back.
I'll be back. Yeah.
So actually I've been listening to a lot of podcasts lately, and specifically David Goggins.
Yes, sir.
Great guy. 100%. He has just the way that he views things.
Oh yeah,
has definitely made me like personally think about it a lot.
Yeah.
How do you feel? I don't know if he said this. He probably has never said this, but like, how do you feel about like people in life, like what they do? We already had this conversation in the car. Like, you know, you think that everyone deserves second chances. Yeah. You know, just because like, you know, misguidance or something like that. Not
99% of humans who act bad ways are just misguided people. Who shouldn't be... The bang gets killing me.
No, it's happening.
This is it. This is a heart attack. They should never be rewarded for acting badly, but they're not bad people for acting badly. They're just in bad thought patterns most of the time. Continue.
One thing that I always try to live by, you know, like everyone, it's very basic. You know, everyone knows this analogy is like, don't judge a book by its cover. You don't know the full story. Like, that's how I try to live. But like, how do you feel about people that don't even know anything? Like what happened today?
What happened today?
Yeah, like judging people. I feel like, who are people to judge someone when they don't even know who they are?
Exactly. Yeah, no, it's one of the things where we immediately like to group people into certain categories based off of like, I think based off of patterns we've seen in the past. That immediately limits your ability to learn from them, experience life with them. If I immediately look at someone as their opinion matters less because of who I think they are, I'm not going to be able to learn anything from them. My conversations with them are going to be limited. I might get something out of like being like having a friendship with them, but like it'll be so lackluster compared to what you could have. Story time. What he quoted, and if this person is watching, I want to extend like a big fuck you to you. Fuck you to you. A big fuck you. Just because it really emphasized, one of the parts that I just kind of hate about one of the mindsets that I just see so often in society, and that I truly believe causes 60% of societal problems. By immediately attributing such major emotions to someone who you don't know. Like you said earlier, you immediately cut off what you can learn from them. You're not going to be able to have good relationships with them. We walked into a person talking about how they want to punch me in the face because I'm annoying. Who sees me at the gym, and it's just one of those things where it's like, obviously it's a dumb thing. I don't look at someone who's annoying and be like, I want to fucking punch you in the face. If you're a truly big asshole, I might look at you and be like, hey, you could deserve a good clock in the nose, because you're being an asshole and legitimately making everyone's lives harder. But it's one of those things where it's like even annoying people acting in an annoying way. It's like you should never once you start attributing violence to that for their decisions. It's there's no good that can come from that, and the only benefit you get is a temporary raise in dopamine because you finally, for once in your life, you feel like you have power because you're talking yourself up in your head.
And then that just seems like to me that just shows like how little that like people actually are, and like how their minds are fully not developed. I think that that like a lot of people have their own thoughts about people. They should keep it either to themselves or actually what they are thinking maybe they should just do. It actually just kind of shows. But like, like who is that person to judge someone that they never know?
Exactly.
Just because it might make them mad that like, who knows? Like, who knows? Like if I'm like at the store and I'm pushing my cart and someone doesn't like it, like, yeah, I'm sorry. Like I'm living my life. Can you live yours? Yeah. You don't have to be like so eager to talk shit or to hate on that person. Mm-hmm. You don't know what they're going through. You don't know what they're trying to do in their lives. Like not saying that like I'm trying to do something big or anything, but like you don't know what people are going through.
You don't know what people are going through, and who are you to immediately hate them when you don't know them? Like same thing and this is one of the conversations that applies to one of the biggest things in our world that shouldn't be as big, politics. If I hate saying I'm Republican, I'm Democratic, because groupthink, and immediately once you say you're part of this group, you want to think more like them, and so values that you have, you might ignore them so that you can like fit in with like the majority, which means you're among like-minded people, but you're also accepting the bad values when you should be changing them. So I generally, when people ask me what I am politically, I have conservative values. I think Republicans are assholes, and I think most Democrat politicians are assholes. They want money, they want power from both sides, and so that's kind of my issue with that. And when it comes to like, if I were to say, let's say Key and I just met for the first time, and we're having a conversation about politics. Who'd you vote for? Which should be left out completely, but it comes up a lot. Oh, I voted for Trump. Colin, I hate you. But without having heard my reasons for it, without knowing who I am, my decisions behind it, or vice versa. I voted for Joe Biden. Or Key, let's say you did. None of this is just a purely hypothetical scenario. He goes, oh yeah, I voted for Joe Biden. I just fucking punch you in the face because I can't. Like, I hate you immediately for that decision. There's situations where I think it's very reasonable to dislike them. Like if I see someone kick a homeless dude, yeah, that person's a fucking dick. Yeah, who deserves to get maybe beat up a few times themselves for acting in a behavior that's so not acceptable or not good at all in the way. But when it's like over small stuff, or like when people, when it's like sports, I'm a Packers fan, we can't be friends anymore. Oh, I'm a Ravens fan. I hate you now. I can't be friends with you anymore. Sorry, I gotta go. Type deal like that. It's like, as humans, we've become so the level of emotions we have for the stupid shit, and the level,
it's honestly just stupid,
and the lack of emotions we have for some really important shit, like helping people and making the world a better place, and truly like sticking our middle fingers up to people who try and take away good things from other people. That is not enough. And when it comes to people being dicks for reasons that they shouldn't be dicks over. It's just stupid. It's just such a misplace of values. When I look at a perfect world, I see people who value hard work, people who value supporting others around them, and people who value just overall like being a little bit better of a person every single day. That should be like, regardless of who you voted for, if those variables are in check, you want to be a better person, you're trying to use your bit of talent, your bit of the gift from God that you have in your heart to make the world a better place, immediately off, I want to be around you as a person, because that's the most admirable thing and the most beneficial thing and the coolest thing to see in someone ever. Like one of our friends that we were talking about too earlier. It's just like there's some people who maybe they aren't changing the world, but you just feel good around them because the way that they treat people, the way that they treat you, you can just tell that as much as they're the widespread, it's not as widespread like in terms of like, oh, they helped 5,000 people. You just know that their presence on the world is making the world a better place.
Or that they carry themselves as in someone that cares about others.
Exactly.
That's honestly, like, to me, like, I don't really think politics. I don't really know much about it. Honestly, like, that's probably
they're all crooks. That's all you got to know.
That's interesting to say. Like, as in, I am in the military, and like, that plays a lot. I think
being in the Marines, you have a lot of politics there.
But me, I like if someone were to ask me if I'm Democrat or Republican, I honestly really don't know. And I think that everyone has their own personal values in life that, like, who am I to say, oh, I think your values are stupid. What you believe in, what's right is wrong. Like, who am I to say that? I'm more of the person, like, and it sounds kind of bad because most people would be like, oh, like, you're just like you don't care enough about it. That just shows like how shitty the person you are. I don't really like try to think that way. I think that, like, in my life, if you're good to me, I'm good to you. Like, yeah. I can see worth in people regardless of what they believe in. Mm-hmm. And like, just for people that like, like there's a huge thing of like, oh, like, you hate abortion, or like you're for abortion. I instantly hate you. Exactly. How you said you voted for some, like, this person. I think everyone has their own personal beliefs, and I can't tell them that they're wrong in believing that. I could be like, you could tell me, Keaton, I don't like abortion, and if you like it, we can't be friends. But what I think, if you were to tell me that, I'd be like, hey, like, if you were to tell me that you don't like abortion, I would be like, hey, I think what you don't like.
I think there are some values to where it's like, there are okay. So to preface that, there are some things that I feel like some moral standards. Like, if I met someone and they're like, I don't believe black people should be alive on this earth, I'm gonna be like, yo, that's not an okay opinion.
Yeah.
Like, that there's some things, and I think that it might even extend to something like killing babies to a point. I don't believe you shouldn't hate the person, you should hate the idea, you should hate the concept, you should try and change. And if you do believe that, you should try and maybe change their mind in a beneficial way where it's not arguing or fighting, but by sharing your opinion, why you believe the way you do, and then having more debate versus an argument, and then a subsequent falling out as people behind that.
Yeah, and like, I personally, I don't know if like you're against it or for it, but
I talk about this enough on the YouTube channel against it.
No, yeah. So like me, like, personally, I don't like it, but again, like, who am I to, like...
You can't look at someone who's had one and be like, you're evil.
Yes.
And no, I would never tell anyone to do that.
It's like, everyone has decisions in life.
And they might not make the best decision.
But, like, just be supportive over that person. Just because, like, they made a decision that might have been more, like, on their side. Like, why would I hate you for that?
Support the people, not the decision.
Yes.
Yeah, support the people and their ability to be better and improve their worth to humanity.
Yeah, so, like... For me, like, I don't get why people, like, play and affect a lot. You can have your own personal beliefs, but, like, hating on someone for their own beliefs or what they've done in their life doesn't show that they're a shitty person.
Exactly.
So, yeah, I'm glad that we actually got to, like, talk about that.
Yeah, man, it's one of the more deeper things that I've always wanted to delve a little bit deeper towards, but me ranting in my room is a little hard when I don't have someone to bounce opinions off of and hear their experiences. So I think this is, like, these types of podcasts where it's, like, talking more about 5 reps on curls will make my biceps big, and more so like
About life.
fundamental moral problems that our society faces and what we need to do as people to improve the world and prevent this all-consuming evil from overwhelming the good inside the world, which is a deep conversation to have and so multifaceted that we don't have enough time in the world to delve into everything at once. Quite honestly, I think we've talked about enough right there to call it a podcast.
Yeah.
How long have we been going for?
48 minutes.
40 minutes, probably about 40 minutes of actual talking.
Yeah, there's a little break in there.
We need to do a part 2 before you head out.
Yeah,
Are
we
you heading
do.
out Sunday?
I am heading out afternoon of the 1st.
Okay, so we have a bit of time
Yeah,
left.
we have like a week left.
Definitely record another one.
Definitely be pretty cool to make maybe a primal podcast, maybe at
That would be fun.
Nutrition.
100%, yeah, we do it there.
If he's okay with doing it after hours.
He's like, yeah, man, come do whatever you want. Stop on by. I trust you. Nate, like I said, check out Burn Nutrition. The best place to get your supplements. And incredibly great people, too. And me is one of them.
Yeah, 100%. But yeah, I think this was a great podcast. And
Great talk.
Great talk. Brought up some good ideas. We could talk for hours. I'm sure.
100%.
But I don't think people want to.
It's that law of diminishing return.
They might.
It's like the first. We'll throw out a number. The first 5 minutes of a 20-minute long subject are going to be like the most beneficial in laying down like the concrete ideas, and after that, it just what you're able to talk about in that time just slowly kind of decreases because you've already like hit so much in the beginning.
My brain is fried right now.
My brain is popping off between the Oxiracetam and the caffeine. We are flying through space and time right now.
I am feeling good. But yeah, I think it would be good to end this podcast now. It's always great talking to you.
It's a great time, my guy.
Always great, being on YouTube. Yeah, there's definitely going to be more to come of us.
For sure.
100%. Hopefully, living together.
Oh, that'd be
shout out to Amanda for dealing with us both. But yeah, great conversation. Can I end your video?
End the video.
Okay, perfect. All right, guys, thank you for watching. Definitely subscribe to Colin's YouTube. Great guy, great person, very athletic. If you like fitness, if you just like
you're making me blush.
Not someone I would want to punch in the face. Fuck you, asshole. But yeah, this is it. Have a great night, and you know what? Yeah.
Talk to you later. Peace. Woo. There we go. That was good. That was great.